Sir, you've been in a coma for 2 months. Oh boy, I can't wait to play my favorite staple 3 of draw card post Raging Tempest.
Face me. Give in to your pride.
What's happening, plebs? Today we're going to be talking about Pot of Desires. It's something that we've kind of forgotten about to an extent. I mean, when was the last time you saw anyone mention Pot of Desires? It's been quite a whole 2 weeks apparently. But yeah, it's let's be real here. So starting from the beginning, this card was £40 roughly when it first came out. Somewhere anywhere between the region of 30 to 50. I said from the very beginning that Pot of Desires is a staple 3 of in like 90% of decks, at least before Raging Tempest. A lot of people didn't see that. As time went on, as events progressed, and as people continued to, top and results came through different YCSs and stuff, people started to realize, oh, Pot of Desires is in fact a staple card. It became, even in decks like Burning Abyss, where with the one Seer, one Takatomborg, one Tour Guide, one Graph, all these one-offs, and yet people were still playing 3 Pot of Desires, just because it ended up being the best variant of the build. Jake Finney, I think, topped or even won an event with Burning Abyss running 3 Pot of Desires, so that's a whole different argument. We're just going over the timelines here. So yeah, there's always been this sort of debate whether or not Pot of Desires is a staple, is it not a staple? That's fair enough. That's a discussion for another time. Let's just deal with facts here. It rose in price. People started to realize it should be played in a lot of decks. Without going into semantics of which deck should or shouldn't play the card, the point of the matter is it did rise in price. People did play it more. People did need it more. So it started to float around the £60 to £70 region at its peak. £70, I definitely saw that going for on eBay at one point at its lowest, like lowest as in lowest available. Like there was like stuff all the way up to like 75 and stuff. The card really spiked through the roof. A staple 3 of secret rare in virtually every single deck in the format, as you can imagine, is going to be pretty expensive. Now, it's a strange card because it's not necessary. It makes your deck more optimal. It makes your deck better, faster, stronger, better, harder, etc. But the thing is, it wasn't like you didn't need to play it. Like, it's just better. In the same way that you don't need to drive a fucking Ferrari, you can get away with a Volvo. Pot of Desires was just a better in every shape or form card than other 3 cards that you would be running in place of it in your deck. But it doesn't mean that the deck wouldn't be able to get the job done. So it was a good card. It was a good card. Let's just summarize everything we've said is a pretty decent card. Now, going forward, Raging Tempest, as you can imagine, that changed everything. That really changed the entire dynamic of how people approach Pot of Desires, how people use it or don't use it. Now, we've had a couple events so far. I think we have an ARG? I can't remember if we had an ARG. We definitely had the Brotherhood Regional in the UK. 200 to 300 people. It's fairly recognizable for those of you in Europe. We had the YCS, of course, YCS Seattle. And as far as I could tell, I'm not too sure if I'm wrong here, I went through a lot of deck lists, and post Raging Tempest, I have not seen one single top deck in any event running Pot of Desires except one. One single person didn't ran Pot of Desires. In Zoo, obviously, by the way. I don't know if that was clear. I should probably say it at the beginning. We're talking about Zoo here. Since, this is the contradiction we have, where Pot of Desires, rat in your deck, if you banish one of them, that's crippling. That can be game-changing. That can just lose you the game there and then if you banish your rat. So, as you can imagine, people are put in a very difficult predicament, very difficult situation. Do we play the Pot of Desires now? Well, it's safe to assume, as far as the actual representation of lists go, the answer is no. Now, obviously, results don't always necessitate that everything is done correctly, or that people are playing correctly, or deciding on the correct theory and stuff like that. Is Pot of Desires a good card? Without a doubt. Is it capable of being ran now? That's the thing. The meta would have you believe, no, you can't run it just now. Banishing your rats is too important. Now, there is the other argument you could use. If you open Terratop, or Barrage, or Rat, or Tenki, that's a lot of cards that you can potentially open. You go first, do your combo, then you Desires. That's something that could potentially be done. Now, the problem is, with that theory, is that we don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal world, or a perfect world, where we can win the dice roll, we can open our rat, we can play through our turn, not get Maxied, not get Ghost Ogred, and then activate Pot of Desires, set barrier, go from there. That's just the reality. We don't. That's not going to happen every game. You're going to have games where you go second, you have Pot of Desires in your hand and no rat. Now you're in a difficult situation. If I Pot of Desires, I can draw an out to his field, but I've destroyed my engine. I've literally broken my engine, especially if you're playing something like Pure Zoo, Kaiju Zoo, really, for the most part, as well. Like, if you're playing Kaiju Zoo and you activate Desires, sure, you might have a couple of Kaijus live in your deck, but very, very high chance that you banish one of the rats. Pure Zoo goes without saying as well. Like, you banish one of those rats, it's really, really hard to come back from there. Not even, like... The thing is, like, you can't even play, like, Levier, for example, to bring it back, because hypothetically, you could maybe go, like, Terratop into Levier, bring back the rat, and then Desire suddenly becomes a combo piece. Well, that's actually not how it works, because you can't Levier back face-down cards. So, even hypothetically, if that was to be possible, that still sounds like trash. You don't want to do that. But yeah, it's fairly obvious that, you know, it's just not a card that can really be run at 3 anymore. So to summarize, we have this argument of the combo pieces are too important. You have your Pure Zoo deck, you need to be able to do your rat combo, go off, and just win the game from there. Now, on the other hand, you can say, I can do my combo, set my cards, main phase 2, activate Pot of Desires, draw, well, not main phase 2, you know what I mean, draw my back row or more cards or hand traps or whatever, and that's it. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't banished any rats. That'll probably put you down to like 15 cards left in deck or something. Probably won't last that long for the do, but hey, deck out can potentially be a thing sometimes. So it's yeah, it's, for the most part, I can't see any logical reason why you would play Desires anymore if you're playing Pure or Kaiju. Now, there are options potentially if you're playing variants of the deck, decks that aren't completely reliant on the Zoo engine. But the thing is, if you get rid of your Zoo engine, you're just playing a worse deck. You're playing last format. So if you're playing something like Frog Zoo, Metal Foe Zoo, fucking, I don't even know, ABC Zoo, is that a thing? Probably not. If you play, like, hypothetically Metal Foe Zoo, right, you literally can just play with and get away with a 3 rat and 3 Terratop. You don't need to play Barrow, so you don't need to, like, commit too much to the Zoo engine. The deck's just really good inherently on its own. So you could potentially Pot of Desires in Metal Foes. Because the thing is, if you do banish your rat, you're still playing a fairly strong deck anyway. Problem is that you're playing a fairly strong deck anyway in 2017 post-Raging Tempest. It used to be fairly strong. It's not really fairly strong anymore against pure variants. Now, Kirin, of course, is still a formidable force. That thing alone can, like, sail you to victory without a doubt. But the thing is, if we look at something like Metal Foes, you're gonna be in a situation where the deck itself is too big. I don't know if you guys have, like, watched recent videos on Metal Foes, but, like, the majority of Metal Foes decks are running a lot of cards. Like, there are literally of 42, 3, 4 plus. So where are you gonna find space for Desires as well? It's a very, very tight engine, especially when you start putting in things like Terratops and Rats into your deck. It becomes super tight. Now, you could just be like, fucking play 50 cards in Desires, but I think mathematically we would have to agree that's not correct. So it's yeah, I don't really know what else I can honestly say on this topic. I think that there's some plausibility to still playing Desires. I think that there is some sort of logic behind playing Pot of Desires. On the other hand, I feel like there's just way too many arguments against running Pot of Desires now. Well, I guess that leaves us with the marketplace. What's Desires running at these days? I've seen it for as low as £40. It's essentially gone back to its release price, and the release price wasn't actually that expensive because people, like I said, that card spiked after a few events. It didn't like, come out the gate expensive as fuck, like things like Pendulum Sorcerer way back once upon a time. People really underestimated it. I wouldn't say really underestimated, but they did to an extent fairly underestimate it. So, should you pick up Pot of Desires now? It's actually a kind of good question. I personally don't think you should pick up Pot of Desires now if you don't have it. I won't trade mine. I won't sell mine. Especially I won't sell it now because it's not worth as much as I bought it for. So I would want to at least break even on what I bought. It's a staple 3-of card. It'll be good sometime in the future when Zoo eventually runs its course, or the ban list hits, or we reach all the way to Link summoning. Zoo will eventually be phased out, let's be honest, so we should be probably just saving our pots to then. There's no point in selling it now and then buying it again once it spikes back up. Selling it low and then buying it high doesn't make sense. There's also another thing in consideration is reprints. Now, I don't know if we're getting a Mega Pack 2018, probably very likely, but it's safe to assume that they'll follow the same pattern as the last 2 Mega Tins where they reprinted all the good cards from that year. Well, good cards from 2016. Oh boy, I sure wonder. Pot of Desires, Dimensional Barrier, Totally Awesome, Alcahest, Beryllium, etc. So, very likely we'll see these cards reprinted again. If there is a Mega Tin, does that mean if we sell it now, Pot of Desires is only going to get cheaper, really? That's what's going to happen. It's just going to get even cheaper if there is an inevitable reprint. Solemn Strike had an inevitable reprint. That thing's only like £15 to £20. So if you're going to be playing £15 to £20 for a Pot of Desires sometime later this year, there's good chances you'll pick it up and it'll be a decent price. One thing else to take into consideration is the ban list. Could Pot of Desires be put in the ban list? You know what? I don't even fucking know anymore. Konami's just like, they do whatever they want, okay? They literally just do what they want. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to be in the ban list. Like, they fucking limited Moral Tack to formats after it was relevant. They could do anything. They could literally do anything. They could ban Pot of Desires. They can put Upstart to 2, like, randomly. I don't know. So it's really... if you think it's going to be hit on the ban list for whatever reason, probably not, personally, I don't think it will, since they still have to sell those reprints. You should probably sell it now anyway, despite the fact that it is a low price. I don't think you should be buying this card now, because it's not relevant right now, for the most part. You should probably wait till the Megatins at some point, or if there's an emergency ban list, you can probably quickly go on eBay and buy one that's sitting at like £30 or something by, a couple of months from now. Who knows? Yeah, so this is kind of strange that I had like a whole like fucking 15-minute discussion on Pot of Desires, but yeah, I guess it's something that's just been on my mind. Like I was building my deck earlier today, and I was just looking through, and I was like, Pot of Desires. Oh, remember Pot of Desires? I was looking for side deck cards for my Infernoid Zoo list, and I was just like, yeah, well, Pot of Desires. Well, I guess I can't really side it. I could go first and side it potentially. I don't know. Maybe that's probably not like a good idea. So. Yeah, Pot of Desires. Does anyone still remember it? I don't know. Hashtag draw 2 cards in the comment section if you've watched this far. Hashtag draw 2 cards and see you later.
Come, face me. Give in to your pride.